Hi, this is Nick from Elite Outdoor Fitness. Today's subject is cortisol. It's a big subject, so I'm just going to touch on it very briefly. I'm going to refer to the board, but I put a doc on the website, so have a look at that and it'll be a little bit more detailed. What is cortisol? It's a steroid hormone, essentially kind of regulates stress. Physical stress, mental stress, emotional stress, and everybody kind of deals with stress in different ways, and some of them are better than others, and some of them unfortunately don't have a good balance for their stress levels, and cortisol plays a huge part in that. So we're just going to discuss, especially with the influence of training as well, and that effect that has on your cortisol levels, the small things that you can implement in your daily kind of routine and your strategy over an extended period of time to make sure they're in check. So what does it do? It reduces or suppresses inflammation, which is going to help with your recovery, regulates blood pressure, blood sugar. It controls your synthesis of fats and proteins, carbohydrates, i.e. energy, which in direct response is going to kind of affect your metabolic state, which is going to be really important for like your glycogen levels within your system so that you can actually go out and train. And as we said before, regulates your stress response, okay? So that's really important, because if we're feeling a little bit overworked or overtaxed or whatever, it's really difficult to go out and train. So straight away, if you just get to grips with a little bit of this, you're going to be probably a bit more mindful about wanting to train and having the ability to keep the momentum going for training. Okay, what can we kind of implement in our daily routine that doesn't kind of impact us too much negatively, that can like have an influence on your cortisol levels, okay, which are increased when you do exercise. Regular sleep, good, potentially regular morning exercise under 1 hour, caffeine not before 90 minutes of waking, stretching, mindfulness, breathing, relaxation, prebiotics and fiber intake, snacking before bed, so i.e. not eating after 7 o'clock at night, green tea, cold water submersion. There's many more, but they're the main ones that I thought that you could do every day that I use that kind of influences my cortisol levels so I have a good night's sleep. And all this is basically about ensuring that you go to sleep and you recover properly so you can train for the next day. Okay, let's start from the beginning then. Good, regular morning exercise. They suggest under 1 hour, but if you're an endurance runner, you can go out in the morning and run an hour and a half and it's no great shakes, then obviously it's kind of relative to really your kind of fitness level in that respect. Routine sleep. They suggest anywhere between 6.5 and about 9 hours, especially if you're training hard. And so you know what is a good sleep for you. You can have a look at your sleep monitor on a Garmin watch if you're wearing one, but good routine sleep. And that means going to bed around about the same time every night and waking up at the same time in the morning. Okay, so if you go to bed at like 10:30 and you wake up at like 6:30, then keep that as a routine. Try and keep within the 90-minute window, the sleep kind of REM kind of pattern that most of adults have, or round about there, and then you should have good routine sleep then, and your watch will kind of manage that as well, and to see how you're sleeping. Caffeine intake. Don't wake up and have a coffee straight away. Wait about 90 minutes. Your cortisol levels from about, I think, midnight kind of start to increase so that you naturally wake up 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning and you're good to fight the day and you're good to go. That's why sometimes, especially in training or you've got a lot on your mind or whatever, you wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and then that's you awake for a couple of hours because your cortisol levels are kind of starting to prepare you to wake up. So you've got to be a little bit careful about that. But certainly when you wake up, don't bang a coffee, because your cortisol levels take a bit of a spike because you're up in your morning routine and that, and you've got to like fight, flight, getting ready for the stress of the world, as it were. And you just have a little bit more balance and it kind of subsides a little bit before you turbocharge it with a shot of caffeine, okay? So do that and you're probably less likely to have a bit of a lull later on in the day. Stretching. Really good. There's a number of reasons why we stretch, and I put some videos out, and all of this is kind of the stuff that you should be doing anyway. A 10, 20 and 30 second stretch on your quads, hams, calves, once or twice a day or after training, does a number of different things, and one of those is really releasing all the toxins and also helping to reduce cortisol levels throughout that 24-hour period. So really important just to help you out. So do some fizz, do some stretching, jobs are good. Mindfulness, breathing, relaxation. You should be doing this anyway because it's been proven to like lengthen your health and make you live longer. I've just taken like 2 20-minute breaks, and that's why we kind of have it in our daily life, and then like a lunch break or whatever, just to take a little bit of time. Mindfulness, whether you're doing yoga or you're doing Pilates or whether you're doing something where you just sat down on the bench and like having a bit of therapy for yourself and taking a bit of time just to concentrate on your breathing, nice deep breaths in, and there's even an app on your watch can do that for stress. Just to take a little bit of time out to big long breaths in, hold your breath and breathing out. It just ensures that if you do that once or twice a day for maybe anywhere between 1 and 10 minutes, it will allow your cortisol levels to have a little bit more balance, and they will lower and help lower your cortisol levels, which will allow you to have better sleep. They've suggested an increase of fiber and prebiotic kind of nutrients is going to help lower cortisol levels as well. Snacking after 7 o'clock at night is a big one, okay? It will influence your cortisol levels and increase because it works with your metabolic system. So if you're adding energy into your system, you're going to have an increase in cortisol levels, and that's going to influence your sleep, and you're going to have poor routine sleep, okay? So no snacking before bed, no energy drinks, and what I'm talking about is things like milk and like liquids that have actually energy in it after say 7:30. So I normally don't eat anything after 7. I certainly don't drink anything after 8 o'clock at night, and I'm not having anything with any energy type stuff in it or caffeine after 11 o'clock in the day as well. Green tea. Green tea has been suggested to help reduce cortisol levels, and so non-caffeinated green tea is something that I drink probably about 3 or 4 times a day, and I put the old ginger and lemon juice and acetic acid and stuff like that. And cold water treatment. And not saying cold water treatment, I don't mean like waterboarding or anything like that. I'm talking about submersion in cool water, and I'm not talking about shocking the system either. If you shock the system, cortisol is a fight or flight response, and it will increase your cortisol levels. So if you go, I'm going to jump in that pond and it's cold, or go flipping the fresh water swimming at like 8 o'clock at night, or having a cold shower, and you're not used to that, and it's a little bit of a shock to the system, cortisol levels will go up. So just influence a bit like gentle. It's a bit like training, and then you progress that slowly. Just have a like warm shower and then slowly cool it down, so that you spend the last bit, 2 minutes maybe of the shower, cooling your system down in your head, etc., etc. And so that it's a progression into that cooling state, and that is proven to reduce your cortisol levels before. So in a nutshell, overall, what is my kind of routine? I go to bed at about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, 10:30, 11:15. I wake up about 6:30, 7:15 in the morning. And then I don't have any caffeine until about 8 o'clock, let's say. And then I train after that, about 9 o'clock. I make sure that during the day I have kind of a couple of 2 or 3 times a day where I just take a little bit of time out, whatever form that takes, whether it's just sat down watching the news, not getting stressed, reducing that, and just concentrating on my breathing. If I can't be bothered to do it for 10 minutes, I'll do it for 2 or 3 minutes, but I'll do that at least twice a day, okay? During the day, I'll have lemon juice, I'll have green tea with no caffeine in it, and I certainly don't have any caffeine products after 11 o'clock at night, after 11 o'clock in the morning, should I say. As I'm going through the day, I make sure that at lunchtime I have a little bit of fiber in my kind of diet. I make sure that I don't eat after, I eat about 5 with the family, and don't have anything to eat after 7, and I don't have anything to drink after 8 o'clock. And if I'm going to have a really hard training session during the day, I have a cold shower, okay? And I probably would have had a cold shower in the morning as well, a little bit. I say a cooler shower. I think I covered everything on there. And the last point to make is progression. Everything's a progression, and you need to progress correctly. If you're not getting good routine sleep, if you're not managing your stress levels properly, and you're not kind of looking at the smaller details of how to have a little bit more balance just at a cortisol level, then you're not going to be able to progress for 3 or 4 weeks of training and a deload, 3 or 4 weeks of training and a deload. And if you're looking at yourself and thinking, why am I not as fit as that guy? Why am I not doing as well? How come I've been training for a year, but I'm always knackered, or I'm always feeling this, or I'm not getting the best out of my training? Then this is a good place to start. Thanks for listening. Chat soon.